Hey everyone, this is the Geeky Panda here on the Geeky Panda blog, providing you guys with another video. This time I'm going to be taking a page from my childhood, out of my whole life, my whole hobby of gaming. There was one system that stood out above all else. One system that time and time again I will gladly pick up and play again, especially with my friends. No, this is not the next gen systems. No, this is not even the Xbox 360. No, it's not even the beginning systems I used to play on. There was one system out there that made a difference. That system was the N64.
Definitely gonna want in.
Pizza!
Him.
Now I know what you're thinking. You know, for some of you out there, some of you are going to be like, oh boy, it's like you're in for a good night. Well, others are going to be like, what the hell is an N64? Which, shame on you. This was actually one of the best systems that Nintendo ever had, that gaming ever saw. Because I know that my audience is mixed between the kids and preteens and teenagers, so I got to do a little teaching here. The N64 system was, you know, came out in the late 90s. I never got mine until I believe 1998, and my first game for it was Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, which was a great game, by the way, because especially with the Battle of the Hoth scene, like you just constantly replay time and time again. But this N64 system, I was born in 1989. I grew up in the 90s, and to talk to any 90s kid, 9 times out of 10, they know what this is, and usually they would always love to play. This was one of the gaming systems to own. Of course, you had stuff like the Dreamcast, you had the PlayStation 1, but Nintendo had the N64, and it just worked. And as we look here, you know, just a basic overview, we notice here that there are 4 controller ports in the front. So literally, this baby is ready to be played with friends in mind. So 4-player split screen, right there, waiting for you. So no need to buy like a multi-tab product from PlayStation. You know, Dreamcast had it as well. They had the same idea, which was great. We have 4 controller ports in the front. You know, we have our reset button and our power button. Right here, you know, for those of you who don't know, it is the memory expansion slot, which I do have an expansion pack in here. The system came with 4 megabytes. Yes, megabytes, not gigabytes of memory. The expansion added an additional 4 megabytes, totaling up to 8. Now, there's only 3 games that actually require this, but, you know, personally, you know, just have it anyways, because you never know when you're going to need it. Other than that, of course, games loading on top. On the back, you have your power brick, you know, well, not really the power brick per se, but power composites with the, you know, with the white, yellow, yellow and red, or red, yellow, white, or you know what I mean. The earlier models had the coaxial cable setup, but you know, the later ones were more up to date. On the bottom here is one of the most not used features at all, because we weren't living in Japan. This is where, you know, Japan released out the disk drive, I believe, or something like that, the N64 DD, that never came to America. So basically, you didn't worry about this. All you worried about was this, kind of this, and this. So, you know, this is a really light system. This is, you know, compared to the other ones I have, this is one of the lightest systems you will ever own. Now, of course, all the games, you know, this is the last generation of Nintendo that featured cartridges. And for those of you who don't know, you know, these were the cartridges. And for a size comparison, this is a Wii U game box. You can kind of see where this is going. So, Nintendo being as they were really worried about piracy, and that's one of the reasons why they stick with cartridges. But this system proved to be the swan song of cartridge gaming, because after that they went to disc format. But, you know, the N64 was not as powerful as the other systems, but it made up for gameplay and, you know, great games, basically, especially games that you played with your friends. You know, you had your great single-player games like GoldenEye. You also have The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, which is arguably one of the best games ever made. And then you had like some of the best multiplayer games, which GoldenEye, which if you use Oddjob, I hate you so much. You also have Smash Bros. Super Smash Brothers, Mario Party. You also had other titles as well that you played, multiplayer. But thanks to this system, you got to thank this system, because this system brought first-person shooters onto the market for consoles. Because first-person shooters was primarily on PC, this proved otherwise. So that's a little history lesson for you kids and teens out there that kind of missed the N64 generation. Now, there was one thing that every N64 owner knew. There's one thing that we did. Sometimes it gets a little dusty. What did we do with the cartridges? We simply blow into them. Because, sometimes the game wasn't working, we just blow into them, and, dust gone, we load it in on the top, we're ready to go. And by the way, the game is Mario Party 3. I'm trying to get a hold of Mario Party 2 because that's arguably one of the best Mario Party games around. But that was it, and we later on found out that it wasn't really advised to do that. It's like if you had a compressed air can, it was a lot safer. But that was one of the things, that we know about. Of course, the controller was actually the most interesting part. Here is a PlayStation 4 controller. This is one of the newest generations of it. Here is an N64 controller. Yeah. Kind of see where this is going too. So, it had one analog stick in the middle. It had a Z button right here. But you had some basic button loadouts and also your triggers. And right here is where you put your memory card or the rumble pack, which adds in rumble to your controller. But overall, this was kind of a very weird and interesting controller to use. Is you kind of like usually how people play it. They have it like this, or they have it like that. It's kind of like switch it around wherever you go. So with Mario Party, which again, if you weren't there, you usually do this. You get a glove, put it on said analog stick, and pray for dear life. This was actually one of the reasons why analog sticks were kind of getting like a little loose. Luckily, this one is still stuck in there, but you literally, I know, especially with the first game, you got blisters. You literally had a blister on your hand, which Nintendo actually went out and gave people gloves because it was like, oh shit, we need to not do this. We need to give them like safety. So when you see this and you think Mario Party, I always think of this. But this system, these were simpler times. There was no online gaming. There was the split screen gaming was the way to go for multiplayer. I had so many fun times playing, split screen GoldenEye. So many great moments in that game, especially if you get the golden gun or just judo chop. I had some hilarious funny moments playing Mario Party because some of those mini games were just awesome. Also, of course, you got the mini games for Pokemon Stadium. They were just as good as well. And then you got like Smash Brothers, where it's like the fighting game to play other than Killer Instinct. Yeah, I'm throwing you one there. And it's just this system. Again, ask any 90s kid who grew up, who had a childhood in the 90s. 9 times out of 10 they know what this is, and 9 times out of 10 they love to play it. Like I remember when I went to college, someone had one of my first college in the Art Institute. So, the people who had N64s, we were kind of like gravitating towards them, especially like, who wants to play on the N64? We were all like, zoom! Because it was so much fun. In a way, I kind of feel bad for the newer generations of gamers out there because because at the time for us, you were missing out. This was definitely a very good, fun console to play on. Even now, the demand for the N64 has actually increased with, it being a collector's item. And even some games out there are really rare and expensive to buy if you find them. Like, for instance, Harvest Moon 64. I cannot tell you how many months I put into that game, and now it is a rare game to buy. So it's like, you're prepared to spend $50+ to $100. Not gonna lie, the original Super Smash Brothers. You also got another rare title that I'm having trouble thinking about, but there were some rare games out there, but mostly it was like first-party games, because third-party games were kind of like, oh wait, we got a big, we want to make a bigger game, let's jump ship. That's what happened to Squaresoft with the Final Fantasy VII, and that's what happened, with Kojima, with the Metal Gear series. So, But overall, this system showed that, yeah, you can have the greatest graphics, yeah, you can have the best hardware for a system, but if it doesn't have fun games to play, then why did you buy it? Like you feel your purchase is unjustified. And personally, for me, I just, even now, I still play the N64 with my friends. If someone says, hey, let's play the N64, I am literally right there, waiting to go. Got my own controller to use because I don't want to use anyone else's controller, or third-party controller. I figure the bigger one they had. Didn't like using that a lot. But it was a great system. Even I guarantee you, if I go, if I ever lived in like a college dorm format again, if I said to people, hey, I have an N64, 4 controllers, who wants to play GoldenEye, or who wants to play Mario Party, or who wants to play Smash Brothers, I would have a line of people waiting down the hall. So again, this was definitely a great system to own. And what about for those of you out there? Do you still have your N64? Did you have to rebuy it and gladly own it? Post it down in the comments below. For others who are like-minded, saying that the N64 is definitely one of the best consoles ever made in existence, featuring one of the best games ever made in existence. So post it down in the comments if you agree with me or if not. But thank you guys for watching my video. Please make sure to like, comment, and if not, subscribe, because I bring out weekly content, okay, arranging everything from video games, anime, cosplay, just some other stuff. So again, thank you for watching my video. Stay tuned for my future content coming out there, including more ConnectiCon footage, and I'm going to have some pretty awesome content coming up, so just keep an eye out on that. So again, this is the Geeky Panda here on the Geeky Panda blog setting out. So remember, stay geeky, my friends.